Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Jianu, pakhair agale, ni hao, chune shumme, wachmale, ohaya gazaimus. Guten Morgen. Hi, hugs and hellos. Khoshamadi to everybody who's tuned into PTB World right now and are watching World this morning alongside Shazad Khan and the very yellow Maha Makdoum. Hello, Maha. How are you?
I'm very good. Yellow actually has, in England, yellow means when you're feeling down.
Feeling down?
Yeah, feeling down.
Well,
Why do you feel yellow or blue kind of thing? But I
I'm wearing
am,
blue and you're wearing yellow.
yeah,
Come on.
great. So I know I'm very good today. I'm not feeling like it's a Monday because we've been working, but it's good. I'm in a good place. How was your weekend, Shazad?
Okay, my weekend was, I think, just like the way yours was,
Yeah.
because of the fact that we were working together. But other than that, I had to work on an excessive level.
Yes.
So I had to go places and there, and so it wasn't really a conventional weekend for me.
Places to go, people to see.
Yeah.
And
No, no,
excellent.
not like that. Not like that. So it was all work. I mean,
Yeah.
this weekend, and then a bit of family too, because on Sunday we get together, we eat together.
Yeah,
so
you
that I
have your
think-
Sunday brunch.
Yeah, I think that's what the celebration was all about over the
Okay.
weekend. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are all set to go through the week as well. It's Monday today.
Yes.
And to be honest, Ma,
Yes.
and it's a genuine compliment that this jacket suits you quite a lot,
Oh,
and you look
thank
very
you.
pretty today
Thank
as
you
well.
so much. I thought I would, make an effort today, especially for all our viewers. But that's very kind of you. But Shazad, there's a lot that's been happening over the
Yeah.
weekend, and I feel like we have a lot to cover today.
Exactly, and since when you say that we have got a lot to cover as well, so let's start with our public service message. And
Yes.
I think my public service message, just because we went through the weekend as well.
Yes.
So I was thinking of it that I should reiterate that for all those people who are out there and their family members are not close enough, probably they're in the other cities or the other countries. Families should always be thick together, and they should stick together as well. And it's a public service message which might at times be very difficult for you to probably achieve, but just a single phone call will make them feel so jubilant and extravagant that you cannot even realize. So please
That's
make
very
sure that
true.
you keep on calling your peers, your sibling, and then just ask them normal. How are you? How's life in general, and they'll be happy.
Exactly, and actually you make me feel really guilty because I'm very guilty of that, and my mother has been complaining. And you're right, it's just the small acts of kindness which may
Yeah.
go a long way. Okay, so Shazad, we have also now, that's a public service message.
Yeah.
Now we also have our new segment.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the first one.
All right, you can definitely start with the first one, Maha.
Okay.
I don't have any issues.
Then
Because,
you're
today
fine,
when
you
we
can-
were about to start the show, I was like, okay, Maha, am I opening or are you opening? She was very generous. She said, okay, you can do it.
I am a very generous person. So today, the ECO officials are to continue deliberations today to finalize the agenda of the 13th summit.
Well, great that is. I think I can probably expand on this news
Yes,
as
you
well.
can.
So expanding on the news, the 13th meeting of the ECO heads of state government will be hosted by the Islamic Republic of Pakistan on 1st March 2017. The summit will be preceded by the 22nd meeting of the ECO Council of Foreign Ministers on 28th February 2017 in Islamabad. Senior officials from member states will meet on 27th February 2017 in Islamabad to make final preparations for the calm summit.
And
Wow.
so that's what's all the busyness on the streets with all the security and stuff.
And now I
the
think
next-
probably moving on to the other one, yeah. So Punjab Apex Committee decided to speed up Operation Rawdul Fasad, which is this new operation which is going on within the Punjab as well. So they're speeding it up so that we can probably be very vigilant and then we can avoid all untoward incidents as well.
Absolutely. And then next up we have the Oscars for 2017, and it was the 89th annual Academy Awards ceremony, and it is underway in Los Angeles, or it is wrapping up. At the time difference, I'm getting confused. But yes, that was taking place last night, and well, it's our night, their morning.
Yeah,
Yes, that's happening.
That's what it is. And for all the people who love cricket, and Pakistanis are a cricketing nation as well. So PSL is going on. Everybody's in love with it. So we all know that what happened in between Karachi Kings and Lahore as well. So just because it was raining over there in Dubai. So yeah, Lahore couldn't make it to the playoffs as well. But Karachi Kings will probably be. We're not yet sure because I do not know the actual scoreboard. But today's headline is that Karachi Kings beat Islamabad United and qualify for the playoffs. Wow, Karachi from out of the blue, they're making waves all of a sudden. Chris Gale's just, wow, Chris Gale, thank you very much for being there. Even though you haven't done anything, you have been pretty much like, and we do have the scorecard over here, ladies and gentlemen. So Peshawar Zalmi leading, And then we've got Quetta Gladiators following them. And then in the middle, Islamabad United, Karachi Kings, and Lahore Qalandars, looking very hard for Lahore Qalandars to actually make it to the upper spots as well.
Exactly. So that is our news headline updates for you. That's been going on, and that's going on today as well.
Yeah.
But Shazad, we have a very important story.
Very
now.
important story,
And it's a
Tisha.
very important show today because it's about helping people. It's about people in need, and it's about sharing stories so that people have a bit of hope, and that there's always some light at the end of the tunnel.
And other than that, Maha, what I would love to put it, the way I would love to put it is that, there are still people who are very humane, who've got humanity within themselves, and, they're original with that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very interesting story to share over here. So now, recently, there was this program where, Prime Minister Mia Mohammed Nawaz Sharif, alongside his daughter, Maryam Nawaz, they went to different schools and they gave away school buses to all those schools which might probably be in need of these buses. And while they were there for the ceremony, so the eye actually catched up on this little girl, young girl Nida as well. And then when they called her to the podium as well, and they started talking to her, and then she couldn't reply. And then it seems like that she wasn't even hearing what they were saying. And they were moved with it. And then they took a picture with the little Nida as well. And then they said the directions were that the picture is going to be over there on the walls of the Prime Minister house. But other than that, now they were moved to such an extent that they thought that they actually called in doctors and asked what the problem was with the girl.
Exactly.
And then continuing over that.
Well, they got the special medical board to
Yeah.
intervene and start the operations on her after they found out. And they used international doctors as well and got her really good quality treatment.
Exactly. And before that, Ma, what is very essential to highlight over here is that, they were the ones who actually said that no matter what happens, we are going to finance the entire surgery which is going to take place. And then
Which
when,
they did.
and when the word went around, because Nida's parents, they thought that it was their fate, that Nida cannot speak and she cannot hear, so they were fine with it. Till the time, that the Premier went over there, and Maryam
amazing.
Nawaz Sahiba was there as well, so they picked up on this pretty child, and then they said that, okay, no matter what happens, we are going to sponsor the entire surgery, whatever it may take. And then that's how it was decided that and finally, when the word went around, there were private hospitals as well, and then they got to know that the surgery is very expensive over there.
Exactly.
So I'm proud to say over here that the Capital Development Authority's hospital, which is the capital hospital, they had the same treatment. And in 2016, 2 kids were successfully, they went through the surgery.
Yeah.
And now it was
Exactly.
Nida's
We will be discussing, how many cases have been going through the hospital as well. But, the operations cost up to around 2.3 to 2.6 million rupees. And, it's a lot of money, but the fact is it shows that, the quality, the treatments, the whole thing can be facilitated within Pakistan if we actually kind of put our faith in our actual brilliant doctors.
And it's a life-changing surgery as well, Ma. I
Absolutely.
mean, imagine that for somebody who cannot speak, who cannot listen to people. And then eventually there are, Ma, as a matter of fact, there are so many kids out there who might still need that surgery. So I think that's what we'll be talking about, whether how is it going to be accessible. But the proud moment for me was that we still have people who care for other people as well, and then we do have those expertise within the field of medicine that we can heal all of these things.
Exactly.
Alhamdulillah.
And another thing we will ask our doctors is going forward, because it's such an expensive procedure, how can we make it more accessible and affordable for people of Nida's parents' background?
And the interesting part is that when you're probably undergoing that, for example, if you're the one responsible to do that operation, and you're doing it on Prime Minister's notification, I mean, the pressure should be there, man.
Yeah,
You'd be like,
that's
okay, if something goes wrong over here, I might not be around.
So we'll find out what happened, how it went, and how they dealt with the pressure. So to discuss this, we've been very lucky. We've been joined by Dr. Jawad Ahmed. He is an ENT surgeon at Capital Hospital, Islamabad. Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. Besides Dr. Jawad Ahmed, we've been joined by Mrs. Farah Hafiz. She is a speech pathologist at the National Education Center for Hearing Impaired Children. Besides Ms. Farah Hafiz, we've been joined by Dr. Irfan, and he is an audiologist at the National Education Center for Hearing Impaired Children. Asarikam, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's an honor to have you guys as well.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with you, Dr. Jawad, because you're working at the hospital as well. So tell us how the story started.
Oh yeah. She was so fortunate. Prime Minister visited the school where the buses were delivered, and she was there, and she took the attention of the Prime Minister and her family. And when Prime Minister met her, he was surprised. She can't speak, she can't understand, but she was performing so well, and he was so amazed. He's not listening, and he's not listening, but he's responding. But she is responding very well. So when he came back, he ordered to provide the treatment of this young baby NIDA, and this her father, who is just an auto mechanic and just working at some small shop at Bharako, he appealed to the Prime Minister for the treatment of their child, and the Prime Minister was very pleased, and he established one medical board to look into the treatment of this small baby. When they found it out, it's not available at any government hospital and only done at some private hospital in Lahore. Then they find some place, and luckily Capital Hospital is in Islamabad, which is just providing this treatment. And last year we did the 8 cases. Last year we did it.
Okay.
And then they established a special medical board to look into the treatment of this baby. And this medical board was established by the Prime Minister's Secretariat. It includes me, speech pathologist, Ms. Farafiz, and senior audiologist. Actually, it's a teamwork. It's not the work of a surgeon only. It's the work of speech pathologist. It's the work of audiologist.
And we will get into the roles of every individual and how important they are, especially when such a surgery is performed. But let's get to the actual details. So when was the operation carried out, and the success rate of it?
Last Saturday this operation was carried out, and the operation was successful, and this operation is actually is consisting of one of electrode placement, a device placement. We just make an incision behind the ear, and this device is placed underneath the skin, and then an electrode is passed which bypass the ear and then connects the brain directly with the device. So you can simply say a device is placed outside the ear and is connected to the brain directly, and it bypasses the ear, and sound signals are transmitted directly from outside environment to the inside.
So we will definitely discuss about the entire procedure. We will definitely discuss about the entire procedure, and I think all of these videos and whatever clips which you are watching on your television screens, it's after the operation as well. Is it after the operation?
Yes.
These are after the operation. But before that, I think I'm going to move on to Dr. Saiba over here. Dr. Saiba, how was it when you got to know that you're going to be on a panel which is being directed by the Prime Minister's Secretariat as well?
It was very wonderful to know that I am a part of this team. I'm already working with the hearing impaired children for the last 10 years almost, and I know NIDA for the last 2 years. She is in now she is in class KG.
Wonderful.
When she came to me for the first time for assessment of speech and language, she was a very cooperative and friendly child and happy child, but it was, as Dr. Jawad told you, that she was from a very poor socioeconomic background, and her parents were unable to afford this cochlear implant, and she was not a suitable candidate for the hearing aid.
Okay.
She's the only child of her parents.
Okay.
And then...
So, sorry, just to interrupt you, how do we find out when someone is suitable for this sort of implant?
There's a candidacy criteria for the cochlear implant. The hearing loss should be sensory neural, profound hearing loss, sensory neural hearing loss. The details, Dr. Irfan can highlight the details more clearly. And this is the candidate, and her age is also the required age is 3 to 4 years, but still she is 6 years old, then there's no big deal.
Okay.
She was a good candidate for cochlear implant.
We will definitely discuss about that, but that's not what I asked. What I'm asking is, how jubilant did you feel when you got to know that you were on the panel, and this is going to be a lifetime achievement, and it's on the...
Yeah, we can be a part of changing her life, and definitely we will play, I will definitely play a role.
Because your role is yet to come.
Cochlear implant is not a cure for speech therapy. The main major role is of a speech and language pathologist.
Yes.
And I'll definitely, I'm very happy to be a part of this team, and definitely I will prove that.
Okay, I will ask in a bit more detail in what kind of role that speech therapists will play in the post-surgery era. But I just want to move on to Dr. Farm and find out a bit more
Yes,
about the
please.
operation. So what? Because we all know it's a team effort. So what was the role of the audiologist?
Well, the role of the audiologist starts with the hearing assessment of the child
Right.
and to establish the candidacy, whether the child is a suitable candidate or not. And when it comes to the candidacy, the first thing is the magnitude of hearing loss. We actually, hearing impairment can be classified into 4 categories: mild, moderate, severe, and profound. So to fit into the candidacy criteria, the child must be having a profound degree of hearing loss, more than 90 decibels of hearing loss. And then comes the age criteria. The best results are between 0 to 3 years of age, when the results we say are excellent. And then between 3 to 5 years, the results are very good. And then between 5 to 7 years, the results are still good. And we usually don't operate beyond 7 years of age.
Okay.
And then when the medical board was set up and me and Dr. Jawad were part of the medical board, then we carried out the CT scan and MRI of the child, which is very important. CT scan is very important just to make sure that anatomically the cochlea is well formed.
Okay.
And the MRI is very important to establish that the cochlear nerve is there, which takes the sound from the cochlea to the brain. So, and then also we look into the child should be, fit to undergo anesthesia, should not suffering from any acute disease. And then most important thing is that there should be a willing and helping and, motivated family behind it, because the role of parents is very important. So in the case of NIDA, fortunately, we were able to, find a good family as well. So everything went the right way.
Wonderful. I know it's a wonderful, positive, uplifting story. Now, I'd like to move on to Ms. Farah. Now, we already know that she was doing well, and that's why she was called up on stage. But now, since this operation, what kind of improvements will we be seeing, and what will change in her life now?
After her complete cure, she will be she will go through speech therapy.
Okay.
It's a detailed, regular, and it's a process. It's a long process. It's not a medication. It's a therapy. It takes time, and it takes efforts. It takes multiple. It's a teamwork as well. Parents, teachers, all are involved in it.
Okay.
Okay, but over here, what I want to ask is that, obviously speech therapy is going to work, but for a kid who's actually never heard anything in her life, don't you think it'll be difficult for her to even understand Urdu?
Yes, before when we start speech therapy of such a child, auditory training is a major part.
Okay.
What is auditory training? Auditory training is we help a child to learn how to perceive sounds, what sounds he has to perceive, what he has to do after listening to the sounds. The child listens to the sounds, then he develops these sounds, he can perceive those sounds, he can localize these sounds, he can differentiate between different sounds.
Okay.
It's a long process and it will take time.
And then one can even get paranoid. I mean, for the very first time, if you listening to something you're not used to of it,
He will be-
might just get paranoid or scared as well. What's happening in my ear? But I want to move on to
Let's
Dr.
ask
Irfan.
but before we move on, Ms. Farah, how do kids react, and how is Nida reacting to these sounds?
She is already very keen to
Yeah.
learn, because I'm already working with her without any amplification.
Okay.
I've been working with her, and she was very keen to learn.
Okay.
She was very keen to speak,
Okay,
and she
great.
can speak a few words. When she came to me, she was on vocalizations only.
Okay,
She
right.
can only on vocalize the sounds, a few sounds, vowels in fact. But now, inshallah, she was with lip reading. She continued. I continued with her.
Wonderful.
I had a regular interaction with her. Now she can vocalize, plus she can speak a few words.
Okay.
But now she will hear and she will now speak, and that will be a wonderful
And
thing.
that'll be easier
Definitely,
too.
that will change her
Yeah.
life, definitely, inshallah.
Okay,
That's why I
great.
just wanted to move on to Dr. Irfan over here, because, ladies and gentlemen, I've seen quite a lot of videos over the internet. that, there are small young babies and, kids who are actually getting those implants. And then for the very first time when they're hearing all of these things, either they're surprised or they start crying or, the expressions are very different. But what I want to ask Dr. Irfan over here is that what if, for the very first time when that machine or when that device will be turned on, what if the sound's like too loud? And what if, it might have even repercussions on her expressions as well? I mean, I'm looking forward to see that expression which NIDA will actually give for the very first time when the device will be turned on, and that will be turned on by Dr. Irfan, right? But I think this is something which we need to, get the answer out after a very short break. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Because if for the very first time I'm hearing something, Maha, what will be your expression?
Well, I'd be happy.
I think I'll be sleeping, I'll be like, what?
Like babies are. So with that, let's go for a short break and stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were in discussion, discussing a very important story, which is about the success story of NIDA, who had an operation to fix her hearing and her speech impairment.
Exactly, that's what it is. And the only reason why I was smiling was that I couldn't really understand the type of feelings even her parents are going to go through, and for the very first time they're going to know that, their daughter can listen to their voices. I mean, that's going to be wonderful. And other than that, I mean, the expression which NIDA might get that, okay, I can
I'm
now
sure it'll be recorded.
probably listen. So that was my question, which I posed to Dr. Irfan over here, that, whatever I've seen on the internet or, on different documentaries, people who've actually had hearing impairments, and when they got operated, so, the expressions were very different. And the only innocent question which I asked was, what if the hearing volume is too high or too low? How do we adjust that? Do we have an option to adjust that? And do we put in batteries in that device? What do we do with that device?
Yeah.
And what do we call that device as well?
Yeah, well, the cochlear implant actually comprises of two parts. The internal part with the surgeon implants in the inner ear through surgery. And then we wait for the healing to take place. We usually give 1 month's time. After 1 month, we are going to switch it on, and we are going to connect an external device to it. Okay. And that external device will be just like a hearing aid that fits on top of the ear. It comprises of a speech processor and a battery compartment, which gives power to the inner electrodes.
Okay.
And believe me, the switch on that we call, it's an emotional moment for everybody. Usually the family is there, and when the device is sort of switched on, children give different reactions. Sometimes some children start crying, Some start smiling, some child might, start pointing towards the ear, look, I'm listening. And these are emotional moments. And once parents are often tearful, and when the device is switched on, it's a tradition over here that the father or any elder in the family usually says azan or prayers in the ears of the child, so that things are started from the name of Allah. And believe me, these are very proud moments for the audiologist as well, because all the efforts that was done in selecting the patient, in doing the surgery, and then all that, now we are about to get the results. And so once the device is switched on, and about that loudness, at the start we try to keep the sound at a lower level, because we don't want to disturb the child.
Absolutely.
If we switch it on at a normal level, child probably is not going to tolerate it. So we keep the levels low, and it comes with a remote control, and we can load at the same time 4 different programs in the implant.
Okay.
So we advise the parents to keep it to like level number 1 to start with, and maybe after a week or 10 days you can go to level number 2, and then 3 and 4. And then we ask the child to come back again after a month. Then we carry out certain tests which we call as aided audiometry with the device on. That gives us an idea that what is the level of listening, and then we accordingly, we can raise the level, or we can even lower it if the child is getting disturbed. And then we hand over the child to the speech therapist. And then in consultation with the speech therapist, we do regular mappings or adjustments of the implant. For example, we hand over a child to a speech therapist, and she works with the child, and then she conveys to me the child is performing well, but she is not, comfortable with sir or sh sounds. That I know which part or which electrode is to be stimulated to raise the level of these particular sounds.
Amazing.
So I'm going to do that. And if she no, the problem is b and d sound, then I'm going to do that accordingly. So in consultation, like a teamwork, we are going to customize her hearing to an extent that he gets a very good input.
Well, you
That's
guys really
amazing.
deserve a big round of applause
This
as
is
well as
amazing.
all those people who invented this device as well.
Exactly, and the fact that you were doing this in
Here-
Pakistan as well, because people are not aware of these things.
Here I would
Yes.
like to add
please.
that she will be, after this cochlear implant, she will be like a newborn child in hearing
Absolutely.
aspects.
And I'm going to-
And we'll have to work on all of her sounds. Then she will start producing words.
Okay, we'll
Yes.
talk about that in a moment, but I just want to bring Dr. Jawad into the conversation. Now, you're the surgeon. Now, in regards to this sort of surgery, how long does the surgeon stay involved within the whole process after post-surgery? Will you be part of that team making sure that there's, the operation was successful? After how many years does the surgeon step back? Are there dangers of more operations?
Yes.
It's one question with 3 parts.
Okay. Actually, role of the surgeon starts with the candidacy of the child. Okay, he picks the child who is medically and surgically fit and fulfill the criteria which the Dr. Irfan Ahmed has told already is above the 90 decibel hearing loss and profound hearing loss. Matlab he or she is suffering from severe sensorineural hearing loss. Actually, this is not a very simple surgery. This is, you can say, as a very delicate and a complicated surgery, and is done under high-powered microscope. Actually, we have to provide the bypass from external environment to the brain, and and our try is not to disturb the normal mechanism of the ear, and especially the 7th nerve or the facial nerve or the facial face is also at risk. So we have to do this surgery.
Yes, of
We are
course.
planning something, we are putting some device, and it should not disturb the normal face or normal look of the child too. And especially when the operation ends, we just test the device by the telemetry. This is a process, it is done by the audiologist, and Dr. Fan did it, and it was successful. We checked the nerves, we checked the device and everything, then we deactivate it down, and then patient was all right. It took about 2 hours.
Okay.
Yes, this operation takes 2 hours, and after the
It's not a very long operation for
it's
such
not a very long. Yes, yes. Usually it takes 2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
It's not more than that. Actually, the area is very complicated.
Yeah.
Where we have to work. But we work under high-powered microscopes, and then we have to put the electrode inside. It's a very small electrode.
Okay, but over
yeah.
here, there's one
Amazing.
more concern, and that concern is that, whenever there's an external body going into your own body,
Yes.
I mean, that's how I'm going to put it in a layman jargon, because, for example, if I'm Nida's brother, obviously as a Pakistani I am, and if we are to ask these questions from the surgeon, because if you're putting something, a device, into my own brain or probably right next to my ear, that can cause infections too. So how do we avoid that in the first place, so that in the days to come, there are no infections just because of the device?
Yes.
Does it need to be sterilized? Do we have to take precautions for that? And what are those precautions?
Yeah, actually, the precautions start from the operation theater.
Okay.
We have to specially sterilize the operation theater and make everything extra sterilized. And the device we use it is already specially sterilized and is open in a very sterilized environment, because it may cause very serious infections if it is not properly installed and is not is infected. It may cause meningitis and other things too. So we have to be extra careful, and when the operation is done, and then we keep it in a sterilized environment, keep it for a day or sometimes 2 days, and put on antibiotics. And then when the patient is discharged, we have to tell the patient, be careful, he or she should not fall down, he should be careful, there must not any injury to the head, and should not have any upper respiratory tract infections, so that there should be no infection in the ear.
All right.
Because 4 weeks, we usually give the 4 weeks. These 4 weeks are very much important, because her wound will be healed down, skin will be at normal place, her electrode will be at normal place, everything will be settled down.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
just
one layman question, one more, and that is that, so for all these kids who are actually going through or suffering through hearing impairments, do they have their eardrums working fine, or the eardrums not working, or what happens with the original ear, which we get by?
Actually, during the operation, we don't touch the normal ears. If her eardrum is perforated or intact, we have nothing to do.
Okay.
We try our best to preserve the normal residual hearing. Suppose he or she is having a 90 decibel hearing loss, he has learned some speech through the hearing aids, then we try our best to preserve his normal residual hearing.
Okay, but
We
why
just
is that so
bypass it.
important?
We just bypass it.
Okay, so why is it important that you keep the normal residual hearing?
Actually, we do it because this 4 weeks is very much important. If he or she is using these hearing aids, then how he or she will spend this 1 month?
Okay.
Then it's better to use this to preserve the residual hearing. And suppose if there is there is any problem with the device or something else, then you must have an alternate route.
Okay, and sorry, and the third part of my initial question was that will she be needing any further surgeries going down the line after this is all healed up?
Hopefully, inshallah not.
Okay.
Inshallah not. This is a lifelong process, and this electrode is placed for the whole life. It has a space. Whenever he will grow, the bone will grow, and it will adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Okay, but there's one more thing which I wanted to ask, and that is just, when I was looking at this footage. So what I could see was that the bandage is only on one ear.
Yes.
Right? It's not on the second ear. So is this implant made only in one ear, or it'll work for both ears, or what happens? Because the only thing, the incision which you made was right behind on her right ear. I think that's what it is. So what about the other ear then?
This is a very good question. Actually, we did the operation on one side, on the right side, and we did not touch the left ear. Implant is placed on the one side only.
Okay.
After we learn this speech, then it is possible we can do it on the opposite side too, if our hearing level allows us.
So she's just going to hear from one ear.
One right.
At least she's
Initially.
going to hear.
Yeah, and that's first steps, baby steps.
First step.
Okay, so now let's ask Ms. Farah, in regard to the genetics of sensory hearing and speech impairment, what is going on? Which children are prone to it? What are the factors? What's happening? Tell us a little bit about it.
You're asking me the factors of hearing impairment?
Yes.
Yes, many factors are involved in it. There can be pre-birth, prenatal causes, perinatal causes, during birth, and after the birth. Hearing impairment can be congenital or acquired as well.
Okay.
There are many causes of hearing impairment, and when we assess a kid, when he or she comes to us, we try to find out the cause of that hearing impairment. Yes, genetics is also involved. Genetics plays a very important role in that as well. As far as Nida is concerned, when she came to me, her mother was very, of course, she was very sad about her impairment, and her I don't think so. Any of her other family members are hearing impaired in her paternal or maternal family. And she, during prenatal causes, there might be the intake of medications, there might be exposure to the X-rays or radiations, and during the prenatal causes, we have if the birth cry is delayed, and if there can be after birth causes like meningitis, other fevers, encephalitis.
There's one more thing which I want to ask, and that is that, for parents who've actually given birth to their babies just now, it's very hard for them to really understand whether the kid can hear or not, because the kid will cry no matter what happens.
That's true.
And that's something which we are going to hear. But how do you think that all of those parents can probably look into this matter, whether the kids listening to the sounds or not? Because whenever we go to a doctor, the only thing they would do is probably do this on the left ear and then do this on the right ear, and if the kid looks, they think that it's fine, but it can be a coincidence too. So Dr. Irfan, if you can highlight on that.
Yeah, this is a very important question. Actually, that emphasizes the need for the newborn screening programs that we need to have. And in the newborn screening program, there are different ways to track the child. You can use different instruments. And these days, there is an instrument which is a simple handheld instrument, autoacoustic emission. And even a lady health worker can handle that instrument. You just put the probe inside the ear. It will not tell you about the magnitude of the hearing loss, but it will give the result in the form of pass, fail. So if the child fails the test, it means some degree of problem is there. But then after 3 to 4 weeks, you are required to repeat the test. And if the child passes, fails the test again, then that child needs to be referred to a tertiary care hospital where more specialized tests are carried out. But it is very important to pick up this disability during the first year of life, because there are changes going on in the brain. The speech area is going to develop in response to the sound. And if the child does not hear during that time, then it means that the child is not likely to develop speech. And if the child does not develop speech by 3 years of age, at the school going age, probably the normal school is not going to give entrance to the child, and the child will end up in special school. And if the child ends up in special school, the method of teaching over there is sign language. So this is the issue. Then the child will, start sign language, and it will be difficult for that child to bring him or her back to the world of speech.
Okay, wonderful. And we are running short of time, but I think it's really important we need to highlight. Now, this is a wonderful story, and as we mentioned in that introduction, that it's a ray of hope for all those other parents out there. Now, in regards to other children suffering from these sort of impairments and living with these disabilities, what are we doing anything to help them or assist them, or going in the future? Do we have any plans to assist them, Dr. Javad?
As according to the WHO report, 1.6 per thousand population is suffering from hearing loss in Pakistan.
All right.
And if you look at the literature, then you will see the most of these suffering from the genetic causes, or you can simply say the family problems. The patients are inheriting these things too. And we actually this technology was not available. Last year we started it now, and with passage of time, hopefully this will spread, and more hospitals will start doing this surgery, and will be easily accessible to the kids too. Actually, the role of the government is very much important, especially the provision of especially neonatal screening. If they will be diagnosed properly, they will be referred properly, and the operation can be, as Dr. Irfan told you, the age is very much important. Then we can get these children at the proper age when we get these childs operated, and hopefully government will try and actually the government will recognize these problems and can help a lot in getting this technology, then facility, and these devices at the lower price too.
Well, one last thing, I think that's and that's what's going to wrap it up is that you told us that it's the ratio 1.6 per thousand kids as well. Now the only thing which I'm asking is it the treatment which is expensive, or is it the device which is only the expensive thing?
Treatment is not expensive, device is expensive.
How much does this device cost? I mean, generally.
It costs about 2 million.
Just the device.
Yes, 2 to 3.5 million rupees.
And then in days to come, probably if we have going to make it, I think that's going to be very feasible for us too. If probably, we do have people who are going to import it from other countries. We just need to, the word needs to go around. That's what it is, I think.
Absolutely.
Thank you
But
very
great.
much for coming
Thank
over.
you so much for your time, and best of luck with the future treatments. And we hope to get you back on the show for an update to see how Nida's doing, and
Exactly.
especially when you turn on the audio. Cochlear implant.
Yeah, cochlear.
Great.
Please don't forget to record that expression.
Absolutely.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful. And, this is incredible. And the fact that, I know I feel really proud right now that we have this in Pakistan, that we are trying. And it's one small step, but in the right direction. And it's all about the small steps. But Shahzad, we have to do our fruit of the
Exactly,
day.
that's what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go towards the fruit of the day, and it is strawberries for today. Let's
Strawberries.
take a look.
I
Oh, no,
actually
it's lychees.
Yes, lychees, not
Yeah,
strawberries.
yeah.
Lychees. Okay, so let's take a look at lychees.
Oh, it looked like strawberries to me.
No,
though.
they did for a moment. So, lychee's benefits are they are anti-stress and they are anti-wrinkle.
Yeah, and then moving on, they're high in fiber, protects heart, prevents anemia.
And then it is helps with your eyesight maintenance, and it strengthens your bones.
Assists weight loss, improves brain power.
And it helps in reducing thyroid problems.
Right, it is very yummy, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly, it's delicious. And actually,
Exactly.
it's anti-stress, so I think I'm going to go and buy a bag.
And all
of
you
them.
have to do is just peel it off, and it's a bit squishy, and then there's a bean within.
And also, you have to put them in the fridge. It's
yeah,
the best
and then
way.
once you eat it,
Shahzad, we're out of time.
it's just so yummy.
It
wow.
is, but do log on to our Facebook fan
Which
page,
is with the name of World This Morning.
Our Twitter page.
World This Morning without a G.
our Daily Mission and YouTube page.
World This Morning, World This Morning.
And the repeat is at
11 p.m.
have a wonderful day and have a great Monday. We will see you bright and early tomorrow.
Till the next time, 1, 2, 3. Good
morning.
morning.